It takes a lot for me to be caught just flat speechless. This is hands down the most residential looking and feeling floor plan I've ever seen Jayco make, ever. Hello everybody, Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV down here at Jayco today, and it takes a lot to leave me kind of dumbfounded like that. This is beautiful. Like, if you are looking for a true full-timing RV experience, you want the comforts of home, away from home, you want to roll the home, that's where this thing comes in. This new Pinnacle right here, it's not necessarily a new floor plan in the industry. It's the first time Jayco's attempted this floor plan, and I feel like they nailed it because they got to copy off of everybody else's test and really dial this thing in right from the start. So first of all, over on the campsite of this big wide body beauty, you've got a mega slide where it's a like a dinette and a literal legit desk space and part of your kitchen. The entire rear of this thing, the kitchen just wraps around you, and it is amazing. The storage, the countertop, the prep space. Pinnacles now have a factory standard dishwasher included in them, and the little details like the way that they include the wastebasket, the cutting board, that stuff is amazing. But the living room don't suck. Instead of the same hide-a-bed and theater seat that everybody else does, they went with this wraparound L lounge, and buddy, I love that thing. That just takes me back. Growing up as a kid, we had a big wraparound lounge very similar to that thing, and it hit me in the member berries right away. Not to mention the fact that, like, yes, you can sit down on it, you can do all the normal sofa stuff, but you can just lay down, you can relax, you can stretch out, you can nap. It's what you want for a longer extended stay kind of situation. But the half bath isn't like, it doesn't feel like you have a toilet in the kitchen. You've got that front bedroom with the bathroom ensuite beyond that, and it is a big old luxury ensuite in that thing. Not to mention the fact, of course, you have your washer and dryer hookups there and every other thing. There is they now have anti-sway, they have ABS standard on these. We're already cranked up to 11. I don't even know where they're at now, but they're up there. Now, I've received some critique over the years of my videos running too long and me talking too much. I need you to understand, when you're looking at an RV of this magnitude, it takes time. And that's why in the first 2 minutes of the video, I give you the floor plan, the specs, and I give you a quick look at this thing I call my floor plan in a flash. If you're really serious about really learning about how you're spending your money on one of these, that's why I do these long videos. I also do a 60-second or less short form video. So if you want something shorter, I'm providing that as well, just in case you were kind of curious. But let's move on from that. Let's take a look at this thing. This is grand, man. I mean, we've got a 102-inch wide body with opposing slides. And again, it is just not set up like a camper. You know, you've got this big residential style, multi-seat sectional sofa over here. This thing is amazing. So over on the right, the first 3 seats, that's a giant hide-a-bed. The corner section is storage, and then the 2 other guys over here, those are recliners. Now, they are manual ripcord recliners. They have to be because they can't be power. You do have to physically detach those to close the slides, to basically, otherwise something's going to get crushed. But, you know, that's a small price to pay, I think, because especially when I think you're going to get there, you're not going to have to wrestle the chairs. This, to me, is an RV for like a seasonal permanent site. This is, maybe you're going to tow it. I don't know. There's nothing that says you can't, but it's a kind of RV that sort of strikes me as something you're going to get there and leave there. And it's something you're going to spend some serious time in. And that's why I love that desk. Because doing the work that I do, I work sometimes in a mobile format like this, and I operate as a laptop warrior, and that doesn't always cut it for everybody, like working off a dinette table. It kind of sucks, especially if you're going to spend a long time there. So it's really nice to have this, but it could be more than just computers. It could be crafts. It could just be, maybe you just want to sit there and have a bite to eat and overlook the newly expanded panoramic windows that we have over here. You can see how they have just the tiniest little stem between them right there. And I love how they have like one window treatment to rule them all the way across that thing. It just looks cleaner in execution to me. Now over here, you can see that you have 2 section shades. If I say the actual name of them, this RV is equipped, up here you can actually see a little sample of it. They see that white hockey puck in the ceiling. That's called the J voice system. And certain keywords that I might say during this video might trigger that thing. I have this propensity to accidentally turn the lights off on myself while I'm recording this. When you're actually using the RV, it's pretty cool. When you're recording one like me, it's a severe pain in the neck. Now, as long as we're looking at this over here, I've already got the control panel open because I did that once earlier and had to turn the lights back on. Giving you a look inside there, I love that they give you a coat closet or a place to hang a dog leash right by the door with the kind of like gloves and hat storage above. By the way, that full entry door, you might notice it does have an extended window, and there is a privacy shade built onto that. There's also, attached to that BM Pro Smart Command system, you've got all these guys. And these panels are going to do different things depending on where you're at in the RV. This one overlooks the campsite of the RV. There's a button for your interior ceiling lights, but also a button to just light up everything outside. So if you're sitting here and you hear something funny, you can hit a switch, light up everything outdoors, all the awning, security lights. You can see everything that you need to do here. Now, you may have noticed how they are carpetless. Jayco has maintained floor ducted heat vents just to provide maximum heating to the RV. That heat system, yes, it does require, floor heat vents that you want to make sure you don't drop Skittles down those things. Otherwise, clean them out. It's not really that hard. But some people don't want to do that. That's okay. I'm not criticizing. Like, if you don't want to have floor vents, get an RV without floor vents. But this system does provide more even heating and is less susceptible to hot-cold zones. Now, I think that's a 20 cubic foot residential refrigerator, and that's they went straight GE appliances all the way across the board. And it's kind of funny. I was talking to someone the other day. For whatever reason, I don't know what it was. They were doing some kind of cabinet modification, one of their RVs, and they were really disappointed to find out that their microwave was just a normal home microwave. But that's the thing. It's a normal residential grade microwave, not a cheaper, sometimes flimsier, more problematic RV microwave. Now, on that note, I do want to mention one of the reasons I feel this model is best for destination use and not as well for towing is because you see how there's that buckle strap across the microwave right there? This RV is long, and it has a very hefty overhang behind those axles. There's some people who are going to say this should be a triaxle. I don't know that you're wrong, but I know the average consumer market freaks out when you see triaxles on anything but a toy hauler. All of the cabinetry and storage is all behind the axles back here. It is going to buck and chuck and toss everything around in those cabinets like crazy while you're towing. So pack accordingly, plan accordingly, and that's, again, why I feel this is a better floor plan for being there than getting there. So it all depends on how you want to use it. Nothing says you have to do it the way that I'm describing. Man, that's a big oven. And see, that's the thing. Again, this is so much more residential than the stuff that they've been making. And I don't like to use the word residential in the RV industry a lot because it's not the same. But this is more residential than what they've been doing. It's not a house. You're still playing house, but you're playing a lot nicer house here. Like a standard dishwasher built into these things now. A lot of manufacturers are doing dishwasher prep, and they're just like, okay, we'll just do you a dishwasher. All hardwood cabinetry. And I don't mean hardwood cabinet doors. A lot of manufacturers play that game. They give you these really nice hardwood cabinet doors, and they are. But then the cabinet styles, the rails, the box of the cabinet is not that. And this is hardwood all the way around with just a redonkulous amount of solid surface countertop. Now, I prefer countertops to be all one level. I've kind of evolved to prefer that over time. But this countertop piece is so big, they can't have a single piece countertop that goes in here. They do have to have a split. So instead of putting an ugly seam in your countertop, they did a little level shift right here. But what I like is how they shifted that up a little bit so that if you have any kind of spills, it's not spilling toward your furniture where it's harder to clean. I'll come back in a minute. We're about to get all this stuff open and look at all the deeper details here. I do want to mention, you've got a 30,000 BTU dual whisper ducted air conditioning system standard on these. And these are prepped. You can option in a third air conditioner if you are so inclined, either from the factory. I do believe it can be added aftermarket. In the kitchen and here in the living room, you've got these bigger rain sensor like max air vent fans. That fan right there will have to get sacrificed to accommodate the third air conditioner. So kind of keep that in mind. I also really like the barreled ceiling. It opens it up in here very, very nicely. You might notice they don't taper the roof line back into the kitchen, which really maximizes the kitchen space. And you have, man, it's like that song said, you ain't seen nothing yet. You got to hang with me just a second here, baby birds, and I'll feed you all the storage that's going on in the kitchen area right there. By the way, you see that folding chair? There's another one of those. I've got it stowed away under the bed right now. So if you want 4 people at the table, you can do that. Or you can just use one over the computer desk, or not. I don't know. I don't know how you camp. Whatever works for you. Oh, it's kind of cute. They're like triple lighting with the indirect lighting up there. Yeah, I've never seen someone do that. It's just a neat little thing. And yeah, I said cute. So what, man? I can deal with it. It's 2023. A guy can say cute. Can a guy say cute? I don't know. Anyway. Now, those cushions on the back don't come off, but speaking of butts, the butt cushion does come off, and there's a little bit of just bonus storage hidden down there. Now, you may have noticed you've got like a big hide-a-bed in this thing, and that TV can pivot depending on where, like if you want to just curl up in the corner of that sofa, you can just sit right there and enjoy it. Again, you can extend that table for more space, and nothing says you have to use that desk like a desk. I can't tell you how many people are asking, where do I keep a dog kennel? Where do I keep a cat litter pan? That is, under that desk space could potentially be a really excellent place for something like that. But the kitchen in this thing, oh my Lord, I love it so much. You have 2 pantries. You have one in the slide, then you have a pantry that slides open to you, so you don't have to go armpit deep to get to everything. Not to mention just a redonkulous amount of overhead and lower cabinetry all around this kitchen space right here. But it's the little details like, right here, when you're doing prep work in the kitchen, you've got a wastebasket, a factory supplied wastebasket space included right there for you, right when you need it. You've got that little slide open cutting board. You've got everything you need and so much more in one of these. And that's why I say this is, when you're in small RVs, every single feature and fixture has to do multiple things to really be effective. When you're in a big RV like this, they can really make each part of the RV really effective at doing one thing super, super well. And I feel like that's what Pinnacle's done here. They really just crushed the living room. They gave us a real desk space. They gave us an amazing kitchen. And what's also great is they gave us one of the best half baths I think I've seen in a very long time. First of all, it's right here by the door, which will be very handy for travel access. By the way, these are called thermistors. These are temperature sensors, and this RV has several of them. There's also one of these outside. So from inside the RV, it can actually help monitor exterior ambient temperatures. This half bath is big. This is one of the most spacious half bathrooms I think I have ever personally seen. And I really like that gray, that darker gray lower accent. I like that. Now, here's the thing. Pinnacles are about the only member of the Jayco family at this point that do have a second decor. And I think that dark gray is the other accent that you might see. Most of it will still be very farmhousey, if you will. Now, I do have a critique. When we're looking at a big, high-level, well-appointed fifth wheel like this, even in a half bath, I don't like seeing that fan. It just doesn't, I don't know. I will say, though, what is nice, I've seen a lot of manufacturers who have a half bath amidships, Captain, if you will, like this one. And a lot of manufacturers won't give you any ventilation in this room. At least they did that. You can always upgrade the fan. Now, looking deeper here, popping open that medicine cabinet, that's backlit. You've got all kinds of storage space going on below it and beside it. I mean, I can't even get the camera all the way up there, so I gave you that secondary bonus footage. It's incredible, the storage that bathroom has. So if that needs to be some kind of overflow space, if some guest storage perhaps, you know, if you've got a grandkid for the weekend, you could use it. You know, that's a great place for the beach towels and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of things that you can do with it. Let me actually get you right up in here. I'm going to slide up and actually kind of lay down on the bed a little bit. I'm not all the way up at the headboard, but that's kind of what you're going to see at night. I hope you appreciate what I call the driver's seat point of view. That TV is a smart TV. Every TV in this is, including the one outside. It is downward dog angled a little bit, if you notice, so that you don't end up wrecking your neck, which is cool. Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest who doesn't even know he's about to be on camera. That is Mr. Mike Applin, and he is the product manager for this brand right here.
Hi, my name is Mike Apple, and I'm the Senior Product Director for Jayco Luxuries, and this is our 38FBRK Pinnacle. It's a new floor plan. We debuted it at Hershey Show. Josh is kind enough to come around, and he's going to do a nice little video for you. We're really excited about that. There's a couple little things that get lost in the weeds a little bit that we sometimes forget to talk about. And with our new G appliance package, this is the 21 cubic foot. You can see the ice water digital display. But one of the things that we really talk about is our freshwater drinking station. We actually have a patent on it. Anybody that's looked at our Jaycos or in the future are going to be looking at our Jaycos. We have a 5-gallon water jug that's down in the basement. You might ask yourself, what the world is that thing doing there? One of our big things is sustainability here at Jayco, and with that 5 gallons, it's cool because you can actually go and purchase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep them in your basement. You don't have to bring bottled water with you anymore. So if you're gonna make some mac and cheese, you're gonna do some spaghetti, who's gonna rely on campground water? Now, of course, we have a whole house water filtration system, but in addition to that, if you're taking a shower or you're wanting to have ice cubes that are actually not cloudy, that's why that's there, okay? So that is our freshwater drinking station. It goes with our G. I wanted to mention that. Obviously, we're doing our new G package, the Profile Series. We even have the built-in air fryer this year, which is really awesome. It's standard equipment. In fact, it's standard in the North Point Pinnacle and Seismic Luxury as well. But I wanted to touch about that freshwater drinking station. Another thing that's kind of out there that a lot of customers are starting to notice. Now, obviously, at the Hershey Show, I was really talking it up, but if you look up here on the fascia, yes, this is our chase wood. This is all hand painted. This is solid maple, and then it has 90 sheen that's hand glazed to it as well. But if you look up here, if you look at other manufacturers or in the industry itself, there is just, you see all the staples, you see the nails. They obviously have to putty it. Well, one of the focuses that tasked the product development team this year was, how can we get away from that? How can we do it without mechanical fasteners? And I don't want to tell the trade secret on it by any means. I want to, but I won't. No, I'm not going to do it. But this has actually been specially designed so that we can actually screw from the back side. So yes, there is mechanical fasteners, you just won't see them. So, if you ever had to repair this, if you had to ever get to it, yes, the mechanical fasteners are on the back side, but you can see that clean, modern, fresh look that we wanted with the Pinnacle this year. So really excited about that. You're not going to have that with the old nail gun. So super excited about that. Just wanted to say hi. I was coming over through the plant. I saw Josh over here. I wanted to stop in and say hi to my Jayco people. So you guys take care. Thanks a lot.
So big thank you to Mike for taking a few minutes out of our day to cover a couple details that, frankly, I forgot to talk about. I love his passion, and I love how he's always really interested in trying to find, the right way to do things. But we've got a bedroom, bathroom ensuite up here that we need to finish up quite yet. And this was, I think, roughly about where we left off. But one thing I want to mention, once again, that quieter air conditioning system, you don't actually see the air conditioner. They, they kind of split the air intake, which just greatly reduces the volume of the air turbulence and the noise. And I don't know. I think you're not going to get jarred at night when the air conditioner kicks on quite like you would otherwise. Now, they've maintained that Cyclops window above the headboard. It does open for airflow, by the way, as do the windows on both sides of the bed. The only tweak that I know that they will be doing in production models versus what you see here are these little phone side stands are going to lower down about 6 inches. Because if you try to climb out of bed on those things right now, it's going to feel like Mike Tyson gave you a hook to the ribs. That's going to suck. So basically, that little curve is going to come down. It'll drop 6 inches. You get the idea. Inverter prepped outlet, actually with the residential fridge, not inverter prepped, inverter powered outlet. On both sides of the bed, USB plugs on both sides of the bed. And Pinnacle's standard have a king bed. You can actually option down into a queen is what's sort of interesting on these. And if I get the bed up out of the way, if you look at the base under the bed, you might notice how it's not as big as the bed itself. That's because the bed base is queen sized, but the bed decking and the mattress, that's an RV king size. So you actually can still size down to a residential true queen if you are so inclined. Now, something else you might have noticed, like you can see it over there in the bathroom. You can see it under the bathroom counter. You can see it over here in the bedroom and in the kitchen. All the indirect accent lighting that they have through this, What's really cool about that is it can really offer some awesome nighttime navigation in here. Now, you know, if there's lots of other like middle bedroom, front bathroom, ensuite kind of things out there, and they all do a couple things a little differently, some a little bit better than others. One thing I do like about them, they have some just amazing space around the toilet. Actually, what's funny is the toilet space is so wide open, I feel almost uncomfortable because I feel very exposed, even though there's no windows in here, nothing like that. It's just how it kind of strikes me. And I'd be kind of curious, how do you personally feel about the double bowl kind of vanity situation with the mega mirror going on above it right here? Like, I think this looks incredible. I do sort of miss a little bit of the Lipitorage storage kind of situation that you could otherwise have up here. But if we look down below that countertop, you can see there's some major storage space going on down there. Now, for a second, I almost criticized them for not including wastebasket space under that sink. What I noticed when I got up close and personal with those things is the fact that you can't. Because of the upper deck beam structure, I'm going to back up a little bit. Because of the upper deck beam structure that you have up here, that is support for the upper deck. It goes all the way under those bathroom cabinets. So there's not enough depth in those cabinets to actually offer a space for a wastebasket. So I think they did the best they could with the space that they had available. Now, that same support beam does lift the shower pan up a little bit. Now, something I noticed here is, like, you've got the nice 300-pound rated fold-down teak seat. And this whole, like, bathroom arrangement, that folding seat, that is really, like, a Jayco original thing. It first came out in their Seismic line, and you're seeing a lot of different manufacturers use it now. The floor-to-ceiling shower pan is, like, 5'9" or something like that. At first, it kind of surprised me. But then I realized, you know, you got a skylight in the shower for a reason. That's there to help give you that extra headroom that maybe you otherwise need, you know? And I don't know. I don't plan on spending any more time in the shower than I necessarily need to, so it does the job for me. Now, if you notice here, you've got the belly blaster amidships. You've got the magic wand to go into Never Never Land. And then you've got the undercarriage wash like you have at the car wash right there, also on that fancy pants shiny shoe shower. Now, the front walk-in closet right here, it does have a pair of swinging doors. You might have noticed in our floor plan in a flash at the start of the video, I did have to kind of duck a little bit to get in here, but I don't know. I duck in and out of stuff all the time. What I love, though, that's cedar lining, by the way. It is just wide open storage. Now, based on a young lady's feedback at the Hershey RV show that Mike was referring to when he first debuted this floor plan, they've moved the washer dryer prep stuff. It used to be in the front nose of the RV, and if you actually installed a washer dryer in it, it would ruin all your hanging space. So instead, he moved it off to the side at a customer's request. And again, that's one of those things that I really like about what Mike is doing. I've really learned over the years that a lot of RV designers are, I think, understandably very proud of the work they do. But the problem with that is they don't tend to take any sort of suggestions or critiques very well. And Mike's definitely proud of the work he does. You see that. But he's also someone who can go, you know what, that's a good idea. And I really like that about him. And closing up here for road mode, although with my skinny chicken legs, I could tiptoe around that sucker and get up to the bathroom ensuite. There's really no need, because again, that's where that half bath comes in very handy for a traveler's bathroom. However, again, I state the fact I feel this RV is best used at a destination and not for getting to one, because when you close the slide up, you're not able to get to much. I do also want to mention the two reclining theater sections of that sofa. You do need to actually take those off, and they slide under the desk, and then they kind of buckle strap in place for transit. I just want to let you know that so you don't accidentally forget to do that and smash stuff, because I've done it, and that sucks. And she is looking good in that silver tone full paint package here. Now, the paint is optional. It's spendy. But man, it looks great, and it keeps the RV looking much, much younger as the RV gets older. Look at the used RV market, find one with paint, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, again, weights and measures here. What's it gonna take to tow this big behemoth down the road? I think if you're doing anything less than a dually, you are doing yourself a disservice. Where GVW of 18,000 pounds, and with the length of this thing, you're going to want the stability that those wider hip trucks are gonna get you right there. So kind of keep those things in mind. The awning space, because it has such an extended upper deck, they were able to offer the normal not even super slide, even the mega slide awning is bigger, plus you have an extended awning up here. This might be the most awning coverage I've seen on a non-toy hauler fifth wheel maybe ever, Now, they have stuck with a gas and electric water heater on these. I'm kind of curious, do you think that's a good call or not? But they are using a very large fast recovery water heater. Over here are some interesting details. Now, of course, it's a big drop frame. You can see how we've got the motion activated lighting all the way through here. You've got your central vac hookup out here as well, so that if you want to hook up a the pool cleaner kit, and you can clean all that out right there. And for things like your outside TV hookups, they do leave you a little plug port down there where you can run that stuff outside without leaving the whole baggage door open. But that sweet JBL sound system that we talked about, you can also control that out here. It has a separate little remote. Like you hear remote and you think wireless, but that's technically called a remote. Basically a second sort of control panel right there. And then across the way, you see the drinking water jug, which you can see more easily if I get you a little closer to it here. This is what feeds the drinking water system for the kitchen and the like the dispenser, like the ice maker in the refrigerator. So you've always got clean filtered water there for you. With that refrigerator, you will always have an inverter built onto one of these, so you don't necessarily have to add an inverter or get a more advanced solar package to do that, although Pinnacles are capable of accepting some very impressive factory solar packages. Now, a couple things here. If I get right down and pop and lock my knees like a hip-hop dancer, that doesn't feel good. But anyway, getting older sucks, and I'm not even that old. You can see how there's that thermal foil layering going across the entirety of the bathroom deck. Now, that's not the only place they use it. They use it across the entirety of the floor of the upper deck, the basement, the roof, the nose cap, all over the place to help give this thing, the best chance possible of comfy cooling. But you can see they're also forced air heat ducting the basement cavity down here. And then this wall, it's almost easy to miss because they've masked it up so well. Those are access panels to things like winterizing and wiring, and God forbid you need some kind of service work. They've done some things to try to simplify that process, like the fact that the furnace can just slide right out of the side of the RV and you don't have to tear apart cabinetry to get to it. Now, as I back up here, something that was optional, something that was part of the generator prep option last year were the bigger propane bottles. So by default, last year, Pinnacles had a dual 30-pound propane bottles. And if you got the Gen Prep option, you got triple 40-pound bottles. Well, the triple 40s are now factory standard. This thing has double the standard propane of pretty much anything else out there. And then you got this little guy right here. They have added to their already impressive ride and handling package and given this the Dexter Tow Assist package. What that is it's both anti-lock brakes as well as an anti-sway system integrated into the RV. And the cool thing about that is it basically just means the RV will, on its own, track behind you better. And you don't have to do anything special or extra. It will just tow and handle better than they used to, which when you're in something this heavy, this long, this wide, I think that's a very important feature to have on there. There's a lot of other analog brake systems out there, but most do not have anti-sway integrated as well. You can see that shock dampening pin box, as well as up front here, you can see how we're all set and ready for that generator. Now, if you're kind of curious what's in that shelf above the generator space right there, because this thing's so big with that drop frame, they had a little bit of space. And instead of putting their hydraulic, leveling gear, your 6-point hydraulic auto leveling pump, just occupying useful space, they put it up in an area that most people just don't utilize. So hey, I'll give them credit to that. Now, in case you were curious, I said how there's triple 40-pound propane tanks, and you only saw 2. You can see the third one over here, and they are all hooked up from the factory. You don't have to do any like hot swapping or anything stupid like that. I'm not a super fan of outside speakers anymore as I've gotten a little bit older and things like Bluetooth speakers have come along and headsets and all that. But if you're gonna do it, I feel this is the way to do it. Put them in the skirt and keep them down low so they don't blow away the neighbors, and you're gonna broadcast that sound right at your campsite. And if you torn your rotator cuff in the past, these steps aren't gonna be real hard to put up and down, which is important on a big, heavy quad step like this, because those things can be a bit of a chore to put up and down. I always think it's funny. Someone's like, well, I've had 3 RVs, young man. It was, okay. I've gone through tens of thousands at this point. I've definitely done more steps than you. I like that strut. But that also doesn't mean, just because you haven't touched as many RVs as I have in the history of the world, that your opinion's any less valid. I don't feel that at all, actually. It's just different strokes, different folks, really, kind of thing. Outside entertainment included on these. They kind of build it into that little, they call it their the buffet, the dining table kind of thing, that little shelf, you know. Then down here, you have yourself H-rated 17.5-inch Uniroyal tires, and that is, those are some thick-soled sneakers, my friends, for this big booty beauty. You can also see they have the heavier duty version of the Moride shock dampening package on there. And I can't remember. I think we talked about it inside, but they maximized their window coverage in that slide. So you see where those 2 windows are? Normally, that's where a super slide stops. And then you have, like, I think it's that pantry and the refrigerator or the desk, all that stuff over there still in the slide. That's why I call it a mega slide. But I don't think that's the official name for it. I got a lot of names for things at this point. Now back here, these will all have the J port with a little kind of outside kitchenette option that you can slot into those. That's not going to be standard on these, but you'll always have that propane cooker hooker down there. You'll always have the stinky slinky sewer hose, and you will always have a heated, insulated, and closed underbelly. And in case you're curious, that's also where they keep the spare tire. I hope you never need it. Now, one of the other things they're doing on here, well, a couple other things they're doing for ride and handling and travel purposes, they have J-Smart lighting, turn signal safety lighting. So most RVs, if you flick on your right-hand turn signal, only one tail light blinks. On this thing, there's like 8 lights on the side of this thing that'll blink along with your turn signals. Some up high, some down low, some on the side of the RV, a little bit of everywhere, so that people know what you're doing. Which, when you're occupying this much space going down the road, kind of an important thing. Things like the TV, things like the full rear cap, things like the option for a paint package. Those are qualities that help define Pinnacle above North Point. There's a really interesting thing. Jayco's North Point is actually where most manufacturers consider their top level fifth wheel. Jayco is a little bit uncommon in that they have a mainstream production model here, the Pinnacle, that goes a level above and beyond. That's not normal in the industry. Love all the extra tail lights right there. I think that's really important too, because like if you do use that towing hitch, that 3,000 pound towing hitch on the back for like a bike rack or something, the more lights you have, the safer you're going to be. Now they are all down a little low. If I'm gonna just be stupid picky, maybe a set of vertical tail lights on the sides of those nose caps, halfway up or something for some visibility would be nice. But I mean, at that point, I'm looking for trouble with mapping glasses. I had to go out of my way to find a critique point here. These also have a 12 volt powered 50 amp cord reel. And I think that's probably one of the most easily understood and concise ways I've ever spat that out. I always have trouble trying to figure out what to call this thing. I called it like a powered power cord reel, which sounds dumb. One thing to mention, normally Pinnacle's very good about having all your hookups in one consolidated spot. But with this one having, the kitchen all the way in the back, and then a bathroom literally all the way in the front with a half bath in between, they just weren't quite able to cross plumb everything together. So that's just kind of how it is. And I mean, let me get you up here on this glass, because even if you don't get the paint, they're using a smoother, higher gloss glass It is just going to look better. It's going to be easier to clean, but my Lord, it looks like a mirror. So as I mentioned, they're not the first ones to necessarily attempt this floor plan. I've seen a few other people. I don't know that I have them on camera. I don't think I do. But like I think Riverstone, Cedar Creek have done things like this. And I've always loved this floor plan. And I'm super excited. I finally got a chance to get my hands on one. Now to help you folks out, I'm going to leave you a link in the video description to help you check for pricing and availability. And don't be surprised if it's running more than your first house that you purchased. It's running more than my first house. And I'm only 41 years old at the time that I'm rolling out this footage. That's apparently just the way of the world. But to be fair, it's also probably nicer than my first house. Where do you think they nailed it? Where do you think they failed it? Are they hashtag flying high or hashtag poop the coop? I think overall it's pretty sharp, but it's big, it's heavy, it's expensive, but that's gonna happen when you're in a really large, nice thing like this. So, you know, it's how it goes. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.